Hello everyone, welcome back to Top List Channel. As we approach the end of 2023, let's round up some of the standout and best new single-player games released this year. I'm reaching out to all my fellow solo players out there, the ones who enjoy the solitary gaming experience. Here are the top 15 new single-player games of 2023. Let's get started off with number 15. If you're looking for a Souls experience that strays from Software, consider Lies of P. Imagine a dark, gritty, Pinocchio-esque world similar to Bloodborne. This game's elevator pitch is top-notch for many gamers. While it plays it safe by following the From Software formula, it stands out for its customizable character gear, immersive atmosphere, and truly unique boss designs. It's already a hit, with a sequel in the works. If you're a fan of challenging Soul-style games, Lies of P deserves a spot on your gaming radar, especially if you haven't already dipped your toe in. At number 14 is Assassin's Creed Mirage. This game marks Assassin's Creed's return to its roots, embracing simplicity with a single city, a single assassin, and missions that revolve around targeted assassinations and escapes. Originally a spin-off for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, focusing on Basim, it evolved into a full game. It's a bit polarizing. Some fans adore its return to form, while others with more discerning tastes aren't so keen. Still, it's commendable that Assassin's Creed chose to focus solely on the art of assassination, as opposed to the sprawling, 100-hour open-world experiences of Vikings or Greek warrior. This is a classic, flawed Assassin's Creed game, and that in itself is a remarkable change. At number 13 is the Resident Evil 4 Remake, a complete overhaul of the game that revolutionized both video games and the Resident Evil series. This remake feels remarkably refined. Everyone has more depth. Leon's character is more compelling, Ashley and Luis are more intriguing, and it's visually stunning. The levels and areas familiar from the last decade are beautifully recreated. Fortunately, the gameplay mirrors that of the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, making for a fun and accessible experience that remains challenging and requires astute resource management. The addition of a knife and parrying abilities adds a new layer of strategy. The quick release of the Ada Wong Separate Ways DLC adds substantial content. For Resident Evil enthusiasts who have yet to dive in, this remake is definitely worth considering. At number 12, we have RoboCop making a comeback in RoboCop, Rogue City. As a die-hard fan, seeing this beloved character return is a treat. Based on the iconic 80s movie, this game captures the essence of what makes RoboCop special and draws on decades of admiration for the character. Granted, it's not a flawless masterpiece, it's more in the realm of an AA game than a top-tier AAA title. However, it does deliver entertaining, over-the-top first-person shooting action with exploding heads, barrel tossing, and classic, nostalgic video game fun. While it doesn't revolutionize gaming, having Peter Weller reprise his role as RoboCop adds a nice touch of authenticity to the experience. Next up, at number 11, we dive into Final Fantasy XVI. This is a giant leap for the franchise as it moves into action combat territory and away from the traditional turn-based RPG mechanics. It's all about wielding your weapon, engaging enemies, and the thrill of transforming into colossal creatures to battle with others. This installment has an edgier, darker tone with profanity, gore, and a compelling story. Is this the ultimate Final Fantasy experience? That's subjective. What it does offer are remarkable characters, an outstanding musical score, and a thrilling journey. Everyone has their own personal favorite in the Final Fantasy series, and for some, Final Fantasy XVI may just claim that top spot it could be yours. Moving on to number 10, we come to Hogwarts Legacy. If you've been longing for a sprawling open-world Harry Potter escapade, this game comes close. The recreation of Hogwarts and its surrounding areas is nothing short of incredible. Granted, it's not flawless, some found the combat lacking, and the story failed to leave an indelible mark. But for those who seek the sheer joy of living out their wizarding dreams riding a broom, flying to Hogsmeade, casting spells like Avada Kedavra against enemies, it certainly provides a fulfilling experience in that regard. Moving on to number 9, we arrive at Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which continues the journey of Cal Kestis. This installment introduces a new conflict, new enemies, a large open hub area, and a number of planets waiting to be explored. What's most enticing is the inclusion of multiple combat stances, allowing players to wield a heavy crossguard lightsaber, 2 lightsabers, a staff, or a lightsaber paired with a blaster. This variety allows each player to create their own unique Star Wars Jedi experience, customize Cal, and embark on a thrilling adventure in the Star Wars universe. While it left me pondering its future direction, it was undeniably an enjoyable playthrough. Comparing it to the first game is tricky. The first game felt like a delightful surprise, an unexpected gem, while this sequel exudes a bigger, bolder vibe. Still, the return of quality Star Wars games to the spotlight is a welcome one. Next, number 8. We have the Dead Space remake. This remake breathes new life into the original classic from around 2008. They've gone the whole 9 yards here, completely revamping it for a more polished experience. The gameplay feels smoother, the graphics are stunningly revamped, and they've made subtle tweaks throughout to improve the overall experience. While there are some nuanced differences in cutscenes and certain environments, the essence of the original remains. Nothing has been ruined or drastically changed. It's a fantastic way to experience Dead Space. As for the future of the franchise, it's a bit of a mystery. Personally, I'm hoping for a brand new Dead Space game with the same vibe and formula, but for now, we'll have to settle for diving into this impressive remake. Next up, at number 7, we have Phantom Liberty, the massive expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. What's significant about Phantom Liberty is that it arrives alongside a major update to the base game, a long-awaited overhaul that fixes bugs and tweaks various RPG elements to unlock Cyberpunk 2077's true potential. That said, the expansion itself is a solid addition that ticks all the boxes for what an expansion should be. It introduces the vibrant and intricately detailed area of Dogtown, a part of the city that feels refreshingly distinct yet rooted in the cyberpunk vibe. The expansion seamlessly weaves its story into the main narrative, fleshing out certain elements while notably deepening the character of Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand and introducing compelling new personalities. Phantom Liberty accomplishes a lot and hits the mark admirably. Moving on to number 6, we come to Dead Island 2. It may not reach stellar heights, but it's a classic, enjoyable video game experience. Rather than sprawling open-world adventures, it places you in smaller, hub-like areas, with plenty of opportunities to wreak havoc on hordes of zombies. This game thrives on its cooperative play option, allowing you to chomp through the undead with a friend. It boasts fantastic environments, gratifyingly gory scenes, and combat that hits the sweet spot thanks to powerful weapon hits, impressive visual effects, and the sheer satisfaction of watching zombies fall to pieces with limbs flying and blood splattering. The story may not leave a lasting impression, but the moment-to-moment gameplay guarantees a good time. While this list focuses on single-player experiences, bringing a friend into the fray adds to the fun. Moving on to number 5, we have Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the latest installment in Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man series. Building on the success of Spider-Man 2018 and Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2 dives into an adventure featuring not one, but 2 Spider-Men, Peter Parker and Miles Morales, as they face off against iconic villains like Venom and Kraven. It's an exhilarating superhero experience, complete with big action sequences, an expanded roster of enemies, and amplified fun. While the combat mechanics remain somewhat similar to the previous game, web swinging gets a few new tricks, a parry mechanic is introduced, and quintessential Spider-Man action is delivered in a larger world that now encompasses Queens and Brooklyn. Without getting into spoilers, Spider-Man 2 offers an experience that fans of the web slingers shouldn't miss. If you're a Spider-Man fan, it's definitely worth a try. Now, moving on to number 4, we encounter Starfield, which marks Bethesda's venture beyond their renowned Elder Scrolls and Fallout franchises. Starfield ventures into uncharted territory by focusing on space exploration, offering a blend of familiar elements from other games, with a distinct emphasis on shipbuilding, planetary exploration, and the trademark Bethesda RPG essence. Is Starfield flawless? Not quite. Has it created a divide among players? Absolutely. Opinions range from fervent adoration to outright loathing. However, many have immersed themselves in this cosmic realm, reveling in the diverse worlds, engaging characters, and the standout feature of building your own starship from the ground up. This shipbuilding aspect stands out as a personal favorite and provides an immensely satisfying gaming experience. While the game isn't flawless, there is a segment of gamers who cherish a Bethesda game despite its quirks and bugs, much like a familiar, flawed security blanket. In that respect, Starfield falls squarely into that category. Moving on to number 3, we come to The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom essentially takes Breath of the Wild to the extreme. Imagine taking the familiar world and essentially doubling it, then layering on a host of physics-based mechanics. This unleashes the potential for experimentation, resulting in a wild, unpredictable, and downright insane gameplay experience. While it may feel like a far cry from the conventional, classic Zelda games, this aspect becomes inconsequential as you immerse yourself in this engrossing adventure. There's a more pronounced narrative, and the sheer thrill of the moment-to-moment gameplay grabs you and easily becomes addictive. The anticipation for this release has been considerable, and fortunately, it lives up to the wait. Moving on to number 2 is Baldurs Gate 3. The ranking here isn't a deal-breaker, considering the abundance of exceptional games this year. For many, Baldurs Gate 3 stands as a top contender, possibly claiming the number 1 spot on their personal lists. And why is that? Because it's an incredibly addictive, open-ended RPG. This classic-style RPG ensures that every choice and decision you make carries weight. Its gameplay is intricate, strategic, and challenges you with tight turn-based mechanics. The game introduces characters you won't necessarily fall in love with, but you'll undoubtedly find utterly compelling. It's a long, challenging, and compelling journey that I think most people should dive into. Granted, the turn-based gameplay may not appeal to everyone, but everything else, the dialogue, the story, the decision-making is top-notch. Experiencing how the game reacts to your unconventional choices and setbacks is an eye-opener in itself. And the number 1 is Allan Wake 2, Remedy's long-awaited sequel to the original game released over a decade ago. This follow-up brilliantly blends Remedy's expertise from past classics like Max Payne and recent hits like Quantum Break and Control into a thrilling survival horror experience. It's a cinematic, atmospheric adventure, intensely suspenseful yet entertaining. Filled with innovative sequences not seen in other games, it stands out as one of the most unique titles of the year. While Allan Wake 2 doesn't necessarily require familiarity with the first game, experiencing it may spark an interest in exploring the original and other Remedy titles, showcasing the studio's penchant for creating extraordinary experiences. And there you have it, a roundup of 15 new single-player games in 2023. It's been a busy year in gaming, and there are still plenty of titles we haven't been able to cover. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share the games you enjoyed, are excited about, or have your eye on for the end of the year. If you enjoy discussing games with us, a click on the like button goes a long way. It means a lot. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, we appreciate your support.